Buongiorno a tutti, vi chiedo di prendere posto così partiamo, siamo già un pochettino in ritardo ma contiamo di recuperare un po'. Allora, questa giornata, dopo quella di ieri molto intensa e piena di emozioni, sarà dedicata ai trial clinici che si trovano in una fase un po' più avanzata rispetto alle ricerche di cui abbiamo sentito parlare ieri. Parleremo di trial clinici che si trovano attualmente in fase 2, subito dopo ci saranno quelli che si trovano in fase 3 o comunque hanno terminato anche la loro fase 3. Poi ci sarà una tavola rotonda secondo noi molto interessante perché tocca un argomento che ci sta molto a cuore, che sono i trial clinici e le aspettative delle nostre famiglie, quindi è un argomento che credo desterà parecchio interesse. Ma prima di cominciare volevamo darvi un saluto speciale e ce lo porterà qui una persona che è Santiago, che è seduto qui con noi, che invito qui sul palco.
Well, good morning, everybody. I was with the Pope on last Thursday. He sent his bless for all the members of the Duchenne family. He also prays for the success of the research that allow not only to improve the quality of life to the affected people, but also better treatment for the disease. He is very involved and he knows everybody about parent project. Good morning.
Adesso invito Filippo Buccella, che ha anche lui da dirci qualcosa di importante.
Indubbiamente una buona predisposizione con un appoggio così importante ha il suo effetto, ma anche il Ministro della Salute è importante perché poi tutta la nostra vita dipende anche da loro. Quindi il Ministro della Salute era impossibilitato a raggiungerci, ma aveva ricevuto l'invito per partecipare alla cena ieri sera con noi e per magari passare stamattina, però ci dice che desidera ringraziarci per il graditissimo invito a prendere parte alla cena che si terrà in occasione della 15ª Conferenza internazionale sulla distrofia muscolare di Duchenne e Becker. Voleva sinceramente essere con noi in tale occasione, ma per esprimere anche la vicinanza alle numerose famiglie che sono intervenute. Purtroppo concomitanti impegni istituzionali non me lo consentono e ci augura di cuore la riuscita dell'iniziativa e coglie l'occasione per porgere i migliori saluti, dandoci appuntamento a una prossima iniziativa. La ringraziamo comunque.
Bene, darei il via alla sessione dei lavori e invito qui sul palco il relatore, il moderatore della sessione sui trial clinici di fase 2, che è la dottoressa Sansone.
Buongiorno, colgo l'occasione per ringraziare tutti e Filippo in particolare, ma tutti perché penso che sia un incontro che sta portando i suoi frutti e ieri sera è stata anche una cena molto piacevole. Partiamo subito, cerchiamo di tenere i tempi. Ora invitiamo Summit Therapeutics, Ralph Loskamp a parlare della modulazione dell'utrofina, un approccio di trattamento universale per la Duchenne.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you for the invitation, speaking here on behalf of Summit and talking a little about our approach in treating DMD. As a public company, both in the US and Europe, I have to provide this legal disclaimer. I'm making forward-looking statements into the future, and these statements might come true or not come true. We're a small biotech company. We have offices in both in the UK, near Oxford. That's where the original research around the utrophin has evolved from Professor Kay Davis. And since 3 years, we're having offices in Cambridge, Massachusetts. We are looking forward to treat all boys and young men with DMD without specific gene mutation. So this has a potential to treat everybody. It could be very well complementary to other approaches, because we know at least that utrophin and dystrophin coexist at the cell membrane. So theoretically, you can imagine that both approaches of raising dystrophin would work well together with an approach of utrophin modulation. This is really a pipeline approach. Our first compound, which is in clinical trials, is azutromib. But we continue to work with the Oxford Alliance on second and third generation compounds with similar or different mechanism of actions. You must have seen this picture many, many times during this conference. It shows the dystrophin protein acting as the shock absorber between the cell membrane and the extracellular matrix, so the springboard. And you can imagine if you're, the springboard is missing this shock absorber, so all the force which goes onto this mat of this trampoline would then lead to tears, and this would lead to injury, this leads to regeneration, this leads to degeneration, and then you have the vicious cycle which happens in DMD. Now, when you look at the two proteins, dystrophin and utrophin, you don't have to be a great scientist to see that both are very similar, they look similar, and when you actually get into animal models, you see that they also act very similarly. They have around 80% structural similarity, and especially at the C and N terminal binding sites, they're even much closer. Let me tell you a little about the role of utrophin. So utrophin is present in all of us and in patients with DMD in developing and repairing muscle fibers. So what you see on this graph in red is utrophin. So whenever a muscle gets repaired or starts regenerating or developing, the first production is of the utrophin protein. So utrophin kicks off this repair process, and then the production of utrophin gets downregulated, and you start producing dystrophin. So as the fiber grows, you see less of the utrophin and more of the dystrophin. In a patient with DMD, you have the same mechanism of action going on. So the repair process is kicked off with utrophin, but as you know, there is the genetic mutation which doesn't allow to have the dystrophin production coming on. The fiber doesn't grow, doesn't mature, because there is no dystrophin, and the fiber degenerates and then needs to get repaired again. So that's the vicious cycle. So what we are trying to do with azutromib, what we're trying to do is it binds to the promoter of utrophin, we try to keep the production of utrophin on. So when the fiber starts repairing, starts growing, izutrophin then keeps the production of utrophin while the fiber is growing and maturing, so that utrophin is taking the place of dystrophin. Again, when you look at slides, histopathology slides of patients with and without DMD, in a non-DMD muscle, you see some kind of utrophin because there is some repair going on. But when you look at a patient with DMD, actually you see a lot of utrophin because there is a lot of repair and regeneration going on. It's only that the location of this utrophin is not in the mature fiber, but as I tried to show you in the cartoon, is more in the developing immature fiber. So it is a little more difficult to understand this principle because you're mostly used that in DMD you either have dystrophin or you don't have dystrophin. So if you have more dystrophin, that's better. In this case, a patient with DMD has already utrophin, but the utrophin isn't at the right location. It is only there where the repair of the fiber takes place, and it's not across the entire fiber in the mature fiber. That's what we're trying to do with our approach. That's how it looks in the mice. On the left, you see the utrophin activity, the staining in two muscles, and you see this patchy appearance of DMD, a patchy appearance of utrophin. And when you treat the mouse with izutrophin, you see a more uniform appearance, because now the utrophin is not only at the local spots where the repair takes place, but across the entire fiber. And hopefully it will take the role of dystrophin. Before I go into an overview where we are right now in our clinical program, I want to thank all of these patient organizations who have supported us to get there where we are now, and without your support, we wouldn't be here. Thank you very much. So izutrophin, no, that was just a thanks to the patient organization. Izutrophin is a first-generation orally administered modulator. We have tested it so far in around 100 healthy volunteers, and there were a couple of clinical pharmacology studies because the compound isn't very well soluble in water. Now we're having a formulation which we believe provides the adequate concentrations in the muscle tissue to actually activate the utrophin promoter. And we are currently in a phase 2 proof of concept study, phase out DMD trial, and we expect to have the first results reported from the first group of these patients in the second and third quarter of this year. We also have entered last year into a license and collaboration agreement with Sarepta, which gives Sarepta the right for commercialization in certain countries, and it gives us access to the clinical and regulatory and overall expertise of